Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. With the launch of Season 6 here in Warzone and Modern Warfare 3 earlier on today, we got access to what appear to be our final two new weapons for the MW3 content here. We got a brand new LMG, and then we also got a brand new battle rifle. And today, wanted to go through and break down the best loadout for each of these since they are brand new and talk about where they fall in the meta. One of these in particular is absolutely crazy. So per usual, first things first, each of these new weapons is free in the battle pass. The DTIR 30-06 is available in Sector 6, and then we also have the KASTOV LSW available over in Sector 9. Now, if you do end up purchasing the black cell, if you care enough to upgrade to that and get all your fancy black and gold skins, you do get access to these a lot quicker. There's one in tier 20, then also in tier 14, so you get the blueprints for them, and then you can go through and as you level up your battle pass more, get the base weapons unlocked. But if you want quick access to them, there is the black cell option there, but just by grinding it out and playing the game, getting the free tokens and whatnot, or if you had some left over, you can end up going through and getting these in the free tiers as always. But let's talk about these new weapons. First off, let's focus on the KASTOV LSW LMG. So this is actually a really unique LMG because the way that they claim this is meant to be played is with tac stance. Now that said, I think there's a viable play style for that and there's a viable build for that. However, if you want to use this as a more practical gun, there's definitely a more ideal build for that. Tac stance pretty much limits you exclusively to the ultra close range, whereas you can have a much more versatile build using something like I've gone through and tested here. So this is going to be much more standard for mid to long range. This thing is an interesting LMG because if we were to go through and mess around in the firing range with this, we can put the dummy plates on. Keep in mind, this is not one-to-one accurate in terms of damage, but you can see like it does take them out decently quick. But also if we were to just focus on recoil here and I don't control anything, this thing moves. Like, it's got a lot of recoil and a really fast fire rate, but it also has a decently fast reload as well. So this turns out to be a decently aggressive LMG, which is kind of unique given what else we have in the game right now. So what I've actually gone through, I use the glassless optic, gonna help out with firing aim stability. It's a clean optic as well, so you're a tad bit more accurate, and it's a nice blue dot. I also go for the high grain ammo on here. This will of course increase that range and that velocity. That said, this is the one attachment I feel like you can sort of mess around with. If you were to take this off and just look at your standard stuff here, you're still at a 960 velo and a 33 effective damage range. Like, that's not bad at all. If you really want to go all in on control, you could drop high grain and put on a stock that's going to help, like the heavy stock here, decent. You could also run the Spetsnaz S15 as well. Obviously your cons are going to be a little bit different. Spetsnaz really hurts your ADS, heavy hurts your other general movement. So sort of you know, pick your poison there. Do you really care about the ADS? Do you really care about the movement, or are you comfortable with the control as is and you can just straight up run high grain and be good to go there? Jack Slash helping out with some movement but also some vertical control. As we saw there, this thing goes straight up and down a ton, so if you can somewhat counter that vertical, that is definitely going to be ideal there. You could try something out like Paracord. I think that'd be viable. Bruin Heavy could even be decent here too. You definitely want to attack some control here though, for sure. I do also use the D20 long barrel, or other options here just kind of mediocre, especially with like just the base heavy barrel not doing much for your velo or your range. I like the fact that with the D20 we are getting a 20% increase across the board with that on there, so I find that to be pretty beneficial personally. Then I also go for the Quartermaster Suppressor, again going all in on control here. One of our new compensators is focused more on horizontal, which is why I don't opt for it here. I'd much rather go for Quartermaster, which does some horizontal and then a decent bit of vertical as well, so it'll make it a lot easier to use in general. If you wanted to go all in on tac stance, you absolutely could, and that's super straightforward, just going in and finding the best tac stance accuracy attachment in every category, and then you spam that on every single weapon. But from a practicality standpoint and from a versatility standpoint, the KASTOV LSW I think is best when built like this. Although because of its strange fire rate and its you know, larger recoil pattern there, I'd say in general this is probably going to fall as like a more competitive and viable option, not a, you know, top contender by any means. That said, things are a little bit different for the DTIR 30-06. And by the way, as we are going through and breaking down these setups, if you enjoy the video at any point, if you find it helpful, a like rating is seriously appreciated. It helps grow the channel and share the video around to new viewers. And if you happen to be one of those new viewers, or maybe you just have not subscribed yet, let's change that. Every single day, I got you covered with absolutely everything you need to know about Call of Duty, and we are on the road to 1 million subscribers. We'd love to have you join us on that, so feel free to hit that sub button and turn on those post notifications. So this thing is pretty crazy. There's a few different ways you can build this out, but we're just gonna go ahead and shoot some dummies. Oh, by the way, me shooting right now, that's just how the gun behaves. This thing essentially has no recoil whatsoever. I'm not controlling this pattern whatsoever, not touching my thumbsticks. It basically is a straight vertical pattern, meaning this thing is laser accurate while also having a decent TTK as well because the damage is so good on it. So you are going to be able to just absolutely fry with this thing. This is, in my opinion, an absolute meta gun in its current state. Like I said, there's a couple of ways to build this out though. So first things first, again, I'm going for Quartermaster just to have a well-balanced build. You could run Caster X1 if you unlock that, and that'd be a viable choice again as well. But to me, the well-roundedness of Quartermaster just works really good here. Plus we keep a great velocity stat as well. I go for the X10 long barrel on here, extends that effective damage range, ups that velo even more. So we've got a 1200 velo. That is phenomenal, right? Our effective damage range only being 29 meters is kind of mediocre. Like, that's not a great effective damage range, but luckily this thing is so laser accurate that it's not going to matter too much. This thing will still be great over range, even though it does drop off a little bit quicker than some other options might. I also go for high grain ammo though, once more, to extend out that range and that velocity, because I do still find that to be incredibly important, despite the fact that this thing is so accurate. So of course you want to go through and especially help that range stat as best you can. 40 round extended mag is going to work just fine here with a 472 RPM. You're not going to burn through ammo crazy quick or anything. And then lastly, I went for the Rifleman 200 stock. This just helps out a ton with control as well. And quite frankly, I like the irons on this thing a lot. I'm using one of the Black Cell blueprints here. Like, this is kind of like the RAL base iron sights, like pretty similar to that. I find them to be very clean, so I can run these personally. That said, I know some people love to use their optics, and I'd probably swap out the stock for that instead and go for something like a glassless or a NIDAR or a 2.5 times, something in that ballpark, so you can still be just laser accurate with this thing. Whatever optic you're comfortable with, of course, always go for that. But like I said, this thing, absolute meta choice right now between its control, its TTK. It is checking all the right boxes as a crazy good option here, which is a nice change of pace. We've obviously had a very stagnant, very stale meta the past season or so. Adding in a brand new gun to sort of spice things up is definitely very fun there. So I'd recommend probably leveling up both of these new weapons. Of course, they could always be more viable down the road if the LMG gets buffed a little bit more with its control, or you know, other things get nerfed. It could always indirectly raise up, and as it stands right now, the DTIR is a crazy choice to be running with as well. So probably worth going through, unlocking them, getting the new attachments and everything there. That said, that's gonna wrap things up for this one. If you enjoyed the video, I can't even do my outro. As I was saying, if you enjoyed the video, a like rating would be seriously appreciated. And if you're new to the channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button on your way out so you can always guarantee you're up to date with everything going on in the world of Call of Duty. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.